Good evening, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to another episode of Critique Corner with me, Daniel Parker.
And me, DB Fastbinder. And we have kind of a packed one today, folks.
Yes, we do, and good to see you as always, Arcos. And
Hey, Arcos.
yes, Steve Martin has looked 65 since he was 35. Yeah, it's the hair.
Yep, went gray early. It's actually a decent defensive strategy when you get down to it.
Yes, it is. Yeah. If you were returning like Arcos, welcome back. If you're new, what we do is we critique stuff from our corners. We basically just review whatever we feel like reviewing for the week. Although this week we've got some classics and some new stuff that we're going to be talking about.
Because we felt like it.
Yes, and first up on our slate of reviews is, as Arcos pointed out, Father of the Bride, starring Steve Martin.
Yeah, so this is one that I was curious to revisit because I had seen it many times as a child. It was not like one of the top rotations of comedies in my house, but it was up there.
Yeah.
I think we ended up seeing the sequel more than the first one now that I think about it.
I've never seen the sequel.
Honestly, I don't remember either movie especially well. I should say I didn't remember either movie especially well.
Oh, all right.
Again, which is part of why I wanted to give this a go. Plus, Steve Martin and Martin Short, so it was kind of fun to see them before they were together on Only Murders in the Building.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, so this movie came out in early '90s, so it's kind of a not still kind of prime Martin, I guess. And it's kind of the basic. The basic plot is that Steve Martin's his daughter, what was her name? Annie.
Annie, yep.
Yeah, his daughter Annie, who's 22. She just got back from 4 months in Rome, but then when she gets back, she has the big announcement that she's engaged, which, of course, Steve Martin's character George is just like, what?
Yeah, he was not quite ready to clip the apron strings yet.
No, he was not. No. And much like a lot of fathers of daughters, they just they have a hard time letting their little girls go, that way. And so it hits them like a freight train. And so throughout the movie, he's basically just he's doing everything he possibly can to sabotage it. He acts like he doesn't like her fiance, even though he's a stand-up guy.
Right. By any objective measure, you'd be happy that your daughter brought someone like him home.
Yeah. And of course that he comes from a good family, and everything else. But the big issue that comes up is the fact that she wants to have this big lavish wedding, and she wants to have it and then she wants to have the reception at the house. And so then he ends up having to hire this wedding planner, Frank, played by Martin Short.
Basically playing the same character as what's his name played in the Beverly Hills Cops movies.
Yeah, Bronson Pinchot.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same sort of generic fake European accent.
Yeah.
Doc character.
Yeah. Of course, you can only understand about every third word. He's kind of like Gerald from Clarkson's Farm.
Except that, like, when he was babbling in a foreign language with someone, I noticed that the subtitles didn't identify the foreign language.
Yeah. Well, what was also funny too is that like the audience can't really understand him. Steve Martin can't understand him, but the women can understand him. his wife and daughter can understand him.
Yep.
And yeah, the wife is played by Diane Keaton, who I think she passed away recently.
Oh.
I think, yeah, I may be mistaken. I may be thinking, no, yeah, she did last year. But Yeah, she was in a lot of she was in a lot of movies throughout the 70s and 80s and everything. But yeah, of course throughout the whole movie she's incredibly patient with him, with all of his antics and him just not wanting her to get married, wanting their daughter to get.
They made a Father of the Bride Part 3-ish.
Huh.
Which I just discovered as I was poking around her IMDb to see if I could find anybody interesting, or any interesting
Uh,
parts, I should say. She was definitely busy up until very recently. Her last one was in 2024.
uh, oh, it looked like a pandemic-ish kind of movie. Came out in
Oh,
came out in 2020.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like all the screenshots of everybody on Zoom.
yeah, it's only a half an hour long. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. Other cast members of interest. You have Kieran Culkin, who Macaulay Culkin's little like younger brother, I believe. You're
Yeah,
older.
yeah, younger brother. Yeah.
Okay. And looking at some pictures of him on IMDb, he was the one who aged a bit better.
Yeah, well, Mac had some issues.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but but he's doing a lot better now.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's your other funny things. Like this is definitely of its time because Steve Martin's business is they make athletic shoes in a factory in California.
Yeah.
There's some of these where I go, oh man, you either went overseas or went out of business probably very shortly after your daughter bankrupted you with this wedding.
Yeah.
like you know that one meme of Walter White from Breaking Bad in the van or in the back of the police car shouting like,
Yeah, yeah,
"No, Steve, don't take out more debt. No, Steve,
yeah. Don't do it, no.
Steve, you're not gonna be able to pay it back. No."
$250 a head. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were trying before the show. We were trying to come up with a way to describe it, and what I hit on was it's a mild comedy.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like nobody's gonna get offended by this.
No.
Um, it kind of did explain why I didn't have a whole lot of memories of it. Because, in my opinion, the most memorable scene in the movie is when Martin has a quick freak out about the cost of everything while he's at the grocery store. He starts taking hot dogs out of the bags. Like, uh, I don't need 12 hot dog buns. I need 8 hot dog buns because I have 8 hot dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably the scene most people remember. Yeah.
Well, it's also the most Steve Martin scene in the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that's kind of his comedy shtick is being the reasonable guy who's finally been pushed too far and breaks.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when he's kind of a wacky character like in The Jerk, that's still kind of his best scenes is when he's having that type of like final blow up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or in or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Even though
Yeah,
he was,
exactly.
yeah, even though his character at the beginning of the movie, that movie was a real tight ass. He was still like, he's just trying to get home for Thanksgiving, and everything keeps going
Yeah.
wrong.
He really is one of the better everyman comedic foils ever.
Oh
And
yeah,
so he's great casting for this. I'll say that aside from that, like it's all very I put like the level of amusement
yeah,
would be how I would describe most scenes.
yeah, yeah. I could see that. Yeah. And yeah, yeah, I think a lot of it was just the fact that he's just so just on edge the entire time, with this huge life change that's coming to his family, and he's just like, oh no, I don't
Yeah.
want things to change.
The other thing I noticed was, and you backed me up on this a little bit. It felt like he was talking in a higher register for at least part of the movie than normal.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
don't
if
know.
that was it might have been like a sound editing, sound mixing issue.
Yeah, or Yeah, I couldn't tell you what was going on. It was just it's like doesn't he usually sound deeper than this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He did seem to sound a little higher than normal, but
Like I think that the use of a movie like this isn't necessarily like I wouldn't say rush out and watch it like I do with some of these comedies where you'll just, laugh and have a good time. This is more like, okay, you're in mixed company and your grandmother gets offended easily.
yeah,
What can you
yeah,
put on that nobody will actually be offended by that that you also won't want to gouge your ear out with a spoon to avoid having to listen to anymore?
right, yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, and like we said at the beginning of the review, it's very relatable for a lot of families. Because we've all had family members that have gotten married, and it's just,
Right.
yeah,
Things got a little bridezilla.
oh yeah, yeah,
Although by the standards of a lot of people that you hear about these days, this is very tame
oh yeah, yeah,
because she actually was happy to have it at the house. Where I'm sure, like a lot of newer bride movies like this, you would have had it would have probably been a plot point that Daddy's so cheap he won't even rent the church I want. He's
yeah,
trying to he's trying to save money by having it at the house.
right, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I want to have it at the. I want to have it at wherever the plaza, where
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
cannot possibly think of a transition point.
well, I'll say just real quick. It's
Go ahead.
currently
Go
on
ahead.
Netflix until the end of the month.
So, if you're going to be stuck with family over July 4th, take this review back in time about a week and prepare accordingly.
Yes.
All right. That gave me a chance to think of a transition. Meanwhile, something that I think that if you wanted to drive away certain members of your family, well, you can put on Daniel's solo review.
Yes. Yes. The new adaptation of The Ghost in the Shell. Um,
Oh, so they did the thing from like 10 years ago where they added a the to the title to make it confusing to figure out.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's actually the title of the manga, which this series is taking heavy inspiration from. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Ghost in the Shell, it's a very popular anime manga franchise. It's been around almost 40 years. The manga was published in the late 80s. It's gotten many adaptations over the last almost 35 ish years. Um,
It even
with
had a regrettable movie starring Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, yeah. And but most people know Ghost in the Shell. When they think of Ghost in the Shell, they usually think of the '95 anime movie, which I will admit is a great movie. One of my favorites. I hold it in high regard, as a lot of people do, but it is tonally very different from the manga, and it's also the characters are very different. Um, the like Major Kusanagi in that movie is very stoic and very serious, and she's always questioning her humanity and having philosophical conversations with her teammates about it. But in this version, although Standalone Complex got I thought tried to do a pretty good blend between the two. But this series is leaning heavily into the manga. And if you never read the manga, like there's a lot more humor in it than you might expect. And the members of Section 9 are just total goofballs, and that includes Major Kusanagi.
I kind of remember that. Like I remember I read a little bit of it way back in the day, and I remember always thinking it was sort of odd after like seeing some of the anime that was much more serious, like all the little chibi style asides and everything.
Right, yeah. But yeah, and of course you see that a lot too with her, where she gets really flustered when she's talking to the other teammates, and because they got too close to her ghost when they were, they were linking their cyber brains, and she's like, oh, you bunch of insensitive jerks. um and giving them a bunch of grief and everything. They all like just do all this banter back and forth. But the first episode, we have the little prologue, which is basically, like I said, it's taken from the manga, and then they also did it with the movie, uh where the major takes out this corrupt government official, and in spectacular fashion, where she shoots him through the window on the building, and then she's dropping down and she turns invisible. um and then we flash forward to where she actually goes to the prime minister of Japan, because she wants to start this special forces unit of public security, to basically kind of work outside the law and outside of normal procedures, and which Daisuke Aramaki, who's the chief, had the same idea. And so they kind of start with a little dry run, where they're outside of this orphanage for war orphans, and they find out that these like corrupt government people are uh, brainwashing these kids. And the major thinks that Aramaki's like setting her up for failure, because if they storm this place, it could just be like this huge scandal and everything.
It's like kind of a Waco style thing.
Kind of, yeah, yeah. And the other thing too, a big difference between like the other anime adaptations and this, is that the major and Aramaki like their relationship's more contentious in this series, and then as was with the manga, as opposed to the other shows. Like, I mean, she calls him the old ape. And but she basically just says, screw it, we'll go in and take care of it. And one of the things I noticed about the show, at least in this first episode, is that it is surprisingly based, although it's Japanese, so but like there's a scene where like at the beginning of the episode, just before the major takes the guy out, they're having this discussion. The guys, one of the people in this meeting says, well, that really goes against our the socialist ideals of my country. And then the guy says, oh, you act all socialist, but you're at heart, you're really capitalist. So like, and then
so it has no respect for communists. Okay, cool.
Right, exactly, yeah. And then at the end of the episode, when they succeed, and they have this one kid that they who got away, and he's basically kind of rescued, quote unquote, and he's like, so you came here to rescue us and get us out of here? And Major says, why? So you could get on welfare and be a drain on society? Like, oh, okay.
I'm 3. Get a job, hippie.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what she told them to do. Yeah, it's just like, find your own way of life. Find your own way in life. Yeah, don't bother me. But
how delightfully unrestrained and ridiculous.
Oh yeah. And of course, the ending shot in the episode is where which is, it's also in the manga, where the major ghost hacks the prime minister of Japan and makes him hit himself in the face. But
okay, this really is more ridiculous. Like, I'm sure there's like actual drama too, right?
There is, yeah. And there's some good action scenes in there. The animation's very fluid. It's got that I think we've talked about this before, that dark line of animation style we've kind of been seeing lately. It's got that
like thicker lines, yeah.
The thicker lines, yeah. It's got that look to it. It is very like 80s, 90s style anime, which I miss deeply. Not that the new anime style is bad. It's just, it has that nostalgic feel to it.
Right. And honestly, we've been kind of in the current paradigm of very clean lines for a while. Yeah, the
Yeah.
technology has kind of caught up to the point where you can keep a lot of crazy details consistent more easily. So
Yeah.
uh, we're due for some experimentation.
Oh yes. Yeah, indeed. But I'm enjoying the series so far. Looking forward to watching the rest of the episodes as they drop on Amazon Prime.
You foresaw my question about where one could watch this program.
Yes.
Well, speaking of things on Amazon Prime that take place in a dystopian future,
Yes.
so have you guys heard about this new Project Hail Mary thing? I'm amazed that no one's been talking about it. It just came out earlier this year.
I know. Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Definitely no big theatrical run. Definitely no hype around this movie and its audiobook and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So finally, this thing is available to watch on Amazon streaming without having to spend extra money. And so I ended up watching it with the family on July 4th. So then I said to Daniel, "Hey, Daniel, want to join me so we can talk about this thing together?"
And I said, sure, why not?
And you're right, Ninja. There are so many video essays.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that the ones I recommend are about the speculative biology of this series because it is extremely creative. And also one from, it's not Disparu. Who's the other British guy?
Not Mahler, was it?
No, Mahler hasn't come up with one that I'm aware of. Yeah, Little Platoon. That's it.
Yeah.
So Little Platoon had a good video about it, but it's definitely one that you can't watch until you've actually seen the movie. So I had actually been holding off on it until I had seen the movie.
Yeah.
So this is a nice little combination of creative voices here. It's based on a book written by Andy Weir, who also did The Martian. And then you have Phil Lord and Christopher Miller teamed up to direct this thing. And you might know them from such blockbuster, immediately successful franchises as Clone High and also the Spider-Verse movies, I suppose.
Yes, yeah. And they also did the Lego movie, 21 Jump Street, and of course, famously, they were the original directors on Solo, a Star Wars story, and then they got fired.
And then the movie had to be reconstructed from almost nothing. And boy, the further away we get from that, and the more success and laurels that these two get heaped on their shoulders, the more it just makes you wonder, what the hell could possibly have been in that movie?
Yeah.
Where Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm decided it was worth firing them over it.
Yeah, and completely redoing the movie. Yeah.
They also produced Sheep Detectives, really fun movie. I saw a trailer for that, and I wasn't sure what to think of it. But if you liked it, we might have to give it a go sometime.
Yeah.
So this movie or this review, I'm going to assume that you're in the target audience of people who did not see it in theaters and have not rented it yet. So we will have an initial spoiler-free section of it.
Yes. Yeah, so the basic plot of the movie is we've got Ryan Gosling's character, Ryland Grace, who he wakes up on a ship. He has absolutely no idea like why he's on the ship, what he's doing there, and finds out that the other crew members on board are no longer with us. And so he's trying to figure out what's going on because he has like no memory whatsoever. And throughout the movie, he starts getting pieces of his memory back. And we find out he's a middle school science teacher who was actually he's actually has a PhD in molecular biology, but he kind of reminded me of the way the character was set up. Kind of reminded me of Dr. Daniel Jackson from the Stargate franchise. For those of you who didn't watch any of the Stargate stuff, Daniel Jackson was an Egyptologist who had a theory. His big theory was that the pyramids in Egypt were actually landing platforms for spaceships. Which, by the way, there are some people out there who actually do believe that. But of course, because he has those ideas, he's just been completely laughed out of academia. And kind of the same thing with Grace. He has a lot of theories that got him laughed out of academia. So now he's teaching middle school science, and we learn that our son is slowly dying because of these microscopic black dots.
Yep, the astrophages who they are okay. So I would say that some of this movie / book's biggest claim to fame is just the sheer creativity of its creature design work. Because the idea of having a bunch of these little microorganisms that can not only survive in space but also propagate themselves in space and travel between the stars is very fascinating.
Yeah.
According to some of the video, like the science-oriented videos I watched about this, you kind of have to yada yada some of the physics aspects of it, because well, what they find is that they basically have a impermeable, they have an impermeable shell that keeps them from that basically lets them survive in the rigors of space, and they can basically survive any amount of radiation as long as they're alive.
Yeah.
Which is why they can do things like go up to the sun, absorb energy, fly to Venus, pick up some CO2 so they can reproduce, fly back to the sun to pick up more energy.
Right. Yeah.
And so what the humans figure out, probably shouldn't have said that, but that way, but it was what the scientists figure out is that there is a nearby star that seems to be the only one in the whole quadrant that is not being affected by this. So they said their Hail Mary plan is to send a small crew on a ship that is powered by the astrophage as a fuel source to go on out there and investigate and maybe find something that they can bring back to Earth to help save them.
Right. And what was I going to say? But yeah, and then that's where it picks up where and then when Grace wakes up on the ship, and then he eventually does get there, of course, but he's got to do everything. Like he's got to pilot the ship, and he's got to do everything in there, even though he's not trained to do it.
Right. He is completely isolated and a little bit effed, honestly. So,
yeah.
But that's kind of the basis of the movie. But the real heart of this thing is when he runs into an alien spaceship that's been hanging out in the same solar system.
Right. Yeah. And then there are a few minutes in there where they're trying to make contact with each other, but they keep messing up, because he's not really entirely sure what's going on, and then but then eventually he meets the alien. What was it called? And Iridian.
Iridian, I think, because like they're from Eridani, I want to say.
Yeah, and of course he affectionately names him Rocky because he looks like a rock on 4 legs.
Yep. Rocky is a amazing bit of puppetry, actually. Like he is apparently not CGI. He is a Jim Henson puppet that had like 6 puppeteers.
Yeah. And so they basically they start to they figure out a way to communicate with each other, and then it kind of turns into like a buddy comedy kind of thing, because they're just like butting heads and with each other, and then they kind of have like the cultural differences, and
Yeah, like, there's a lot of fun creativity to how the Rocky's race works. Like, I'll just say one is that he gets very nervous when he's alone because when his species goes to sleep, they are completely unconscious until they are done with whatever repair work they're doing
yeah,
internally. So it's like a cultural thing that when someone is asleep, you watch over them.
right, yeah,
Um, so that's kind of the non-spoiler thing. So you would get all that basically from the trailer.
yeah,
Um, so I think we both agreed that this was a better movie than The Martian.
yeah,
And it's because of how they handled the back on Earth scenes so much better.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you had a take on it earlier that I was going to let you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like in The Martian, they had the back on Earth scenes were basically like all this office politics stuff. Like well, if we make this decision, that could really, really impact our,
Right.
the agency, and I could lose my job, and
Do we even let people know he's there? Maybe by the time we get there, he's probably dead anyway. Maybe we should just cover this up.
oh yeah, yeah, and like yeah, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care if this guy loses his job or not.
Right. Get back to Matt Damon
Yeah,
trying to survive on Mars. That was the interesting part.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, this movie didn't do that. Like it was more about it was more about the space stuff, and then the back on Earth stuff was more like trying to solve the problem of what's going on, trying to find the solution, and then yeah, yeah,
Right. And it's very fun to just watch the logical progression of everybody.
yeah,
Um, Also, because his excuse was that he had amnesia because of the coma he was induced into, and the reason he was alone was that he was the only one that actually woke up from the induced coma.
yeah,
Um, you like there is a spoiler for this movie that I don't think I'm going to share. That the movie would have come across completely differently if they'd had all of the lead up scenes as Act One and then started Act Two with him in space waking up.
yeah.
But it's a good reveal that you get,
Mhm.
and it makes the rest of the movie so much more interesting.
Yeah,
Um, I've started listening to the audiobook, and they have explanations for a lot of little things um, that I wondered about. Like, for example, when he wakes up, well, uh, he's Ryan Gosling. He's buff.
yeah, yeah,
He doesn't look like he's been under a coma for 3 years. Well, the reason for that is that he actually was being stimulated by electrodes the whole time, which they don't really go into in the movie. Like, there's just not time for all the technical details that Andy Weir thought up
right, yeah,
that are rewarding. Now, you thought it dragged a bit. Personally speaking, the 3 hours of the movie felt like two to me, which I'll call a big compliment.
Mm.
Um, but I really dug his relationship with Rocky. The other improvement over The Martian was that they didn't ever use science as a verb, as I recall, in this one.
No, they didn't.
Like, no offense to Andy Weir, like it feels like he talks to people on Reddit a lot because his dialogue can come across as very Redditor
Yeah,
or slightly stilted. Here it worked because it was less grating, in my opinion, but also because a lot of the quirky dialogue was reserved for Rocky, an alien talking through a translator machine. So,
yeah,
of course, you can have a lot of fun with mistranslations or half translations and things like that,
yeah, yeah,
and slightly stilted wording.
yeah. Pump the fist. That's not right.
Amaze, amaze, amaze.
Yeah.
Like, really, the only plot hole that I haven't seen an explanation for is so the two alien races have different knowledge and skills the other one doesn't.
Yeah,
Um, Supposedly, Rocky's people don't know what radiation is, and
yeah,
because they get by on an advanced form of echolocation, so they don't have sight, so they don't really have a concept of a lot of things. My questions are: how did you discover the problem in space in the first place? How do you know what stars are? How
Yeah.
did you know how to get there in your spaceship? How did you navigate? And how did you see Ryan's ship was even in the same system as you? Now, I
Yeah.
expect answers for these when I'm reading the book, but they were things that occurred to me just watching the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and I can't think of an explanation right now. Yeah.
right, because if you don't know what radiation is, you can't exactly have sensors on ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, if that's the man, I have forgiven sci-fi movies way worse than that. So if that's the worst that this movie does, like, go give it a watch. There's a reason this thing was a phenomenon a few months back.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen it in IMAX.
Yeah, that man. Yeah, some of these shots would have been stunning.
Yeah.
Mostly filmed without green screens, maybe even entirely without green screens. Apparently,
Oh, that's great. Oh,
that might be why it was actually a surprisingly expensive movie. Like I think it was 175 million or something like that.
yeah. Let me look here. You usually have the budget on IMDb. Well, IMDb says 200 million.
Oof. Yeah, so this thing was probably not profitable in the theaters, but Amazon is probably just happy that it was well received. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, it got me to buy an audiobook off of Amazon, so that's,
Yeah. I know Andy Weir will be happy about that.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're behind the times like us, go get with the times, give it a watch. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed.
All right. And our fourth and final review for the night. Uh, I rewatched High Plains Drifter.
And I watched it for the first time. I'd never seen it before.
Yes, I had seen it, and this one is difficult to review without giving the game away. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how I want to structure that. I think the best way to describe it would be that it is a deconstruction of the most classic Western plot there is, which is stranger comes into town and is recruited to help fight bandits who are going to be coming over the hills in a few days. Like your classic Magnificent Seven Samurai style thing, just with one samurai.
Right. Yeah. Then, and of course, our stranger character, who's played by Clint Eastwood, and by Eastwood also directed the movie. This is his first Western that he directed, and the second movie overall that he had ever directed.
Yep. And so there is a gimmick to this movie. There's a gimmick to this movie that leads to an opening for a lot of discussion or personal theories or things like that. What I'm going to say is that if the idea of a dark, possibly supernatural Western directed and starring Clint Eastwood being even more of a subversive cowboy man than normal,
Yeah.
it is intriguing. You can go watch it right now on Netflix.
Yeah.
Do not let us spoil what the fun of the movie is, because a
Yeah.
lot of the impact of the movie is going, wait, what?
Yeah.
As things go progressively off the rails.
Oh yeah, and they do. Yeah.
Now, I would say it's worth two watches because watching it the second time, knowing what the gag was,
Yeah.
made things seem even more insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I do not want to make anybody watch this thing having had the gag spoiled for them.
Yeah.
So this has been your warning. It is worth a watch. Go watch it if it sounds interesting. And if we spoil it, it is upon your head.
Yes.
So I can't think of a lot of cowboy movies that start with our purported hero violently forcing himself upon a woman.
Yeah. Can't think of too many of those. Yeah. I feel,
At least outside of your grindhouse movies.
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I'm sure
cool.
there's probably a Django movie of some sort that had that as an inciting incident. But
Yeah. And I kind of mention real quick that the actress who plays the woman that he, you know, Eastwood forces himself on is she was on an episode of Star Trek. Um, Actually, a famous episode of Star Trek, Dagger of the Mind, where and she plays this psychiatrist that Kirk goes into this penal colony with. And all the prisoners are being mind like hypnotized and mind controlled. They spoofed it on South Park.
Oh, which episode was that?
The one with the planetarium. It was
Oh,
like
the
one of
planetarium.
the planetarium. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I just thought that I was like, oh wow, no, didn't expect to see her there. But yeah, that scene was pretty like jarring. Yeah, because especially with Eastwood, because you always think of Eastwood in Clint Eastwood character as being morally gray, but not that morally gray.
Right. That's more morally black. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way of putting it. Like, if if John Wayne was usually wearing the white hat in his movies,
yeah,
uh, Eastwood would be the black or gray cowboy.
yeah.
Um, and he's just like on a complete tear through everybody.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
he shows up, gets in a fight, guns down 3 dudes right away, which were the 3 dudes that they were hiring to protect the town. So how good could they have been in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah, and then as soon as that happens, they all start giving them, basically giving them free stuff.
Like, please save us.
Yeah. And then yeah, he makes the dwarf guy in the town, the mayor and the sheriff.
Yeah, like, so basically he is completely screwing around with them because
Oh
he
yeah.
does not take his promise to defend them remotely seriously.
Yeah, he takes over the hotel and he makes them paint all the buildings red and
Right. It's just yeah. Um like he finds one thing that everybody, like every person of import in the town, cares about and destroys it.
yeah.
Like, they tear apart the barn owned by the hotel owner, I believe,
Oh yeah, yeah.
just to build the barricades and defensive materials for the town. Like you said, like, he makes them paint the whole town red for no reason other than it amuses him.
Yeah.
He, like you said, he puts the dwarf in charge, just to humiliate them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then well, and also with the hotel owner, he beds the hotel owner's wife.
Yep.
Just
After having another round with the, oh no, that was the hotel owner's wife that he originally forced himself on, right?
no, it was a different woman.
That's right. That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. The hotel owner's wife was actually like the dignified woman.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and then
But
yeah.
and you also realize very quickly that everybody in this town is awful
Yeah.
deep down.
Yeah. Yeah, because we get a lot of flashback scenes where because you find out that there was a marshal that was in the town, and he discovered that because the town's a mining town, and they found out that the mine was actually on government property, and the
Which
marshal
means
found
that
out
it's an illegal mine.
right, and so the marshal found out about it, but then the three bandits that are coming into the town to raise hell, they killed the marshal by whipping him to death, and everybody in the town just stood by and watched.
Yep,
Yeah,
because they saw where their money was.
yeah. And so yeah, so through the whole movie, the Eastwood's character is basically, that's obviously in the, part of, his motivation for doing this is because he obviously has some kind of connection with that marshal. And yeah, then
Yep.
yeah, of course, then it all comes to a head in the climax. Yeah.
Yep. And okay, so this is your chance to avoid the real spoiler here, which is the real what is fun to discuss about the movie.
Yes.
because it's a fine movie. It's just like a very brutal, bloody, but still straightforward-ish story, except for this element.
Yeah.
Who is the stranger?
Yes.
Because there's a couple of ways you can interpret this. Now, Daniel, you kind of ruined my life by telling me what Eastwood, the author, actually had to say.
Yeah. So apparently, Eastwood was on. Actually, I think it was on Inside the Actors Studio, where he says that the stranger was actually the brother of the marshal.
Which, boy, that might be the most boring answer possible.
Yeah. So it's been like Rosebud and Citizen Kane. It was the sled from when he was a kid.
Yep. Except that at least has like some, how to put it, that at least has some like irony to it. Like
Yeah.
that's like the most boring, obvious answer you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, okay, so I talked to my dad about this movie, and I couldn't recall personally. Was it Eastwood playing the marshal being whipped to death?
Uh, I looked it up. That was his stunt double.
Okay,
Yeah. So that's why the resemblance was there. To kind of give
so
it and to give it some ambiguity.
right, because like that again, that's the most boring possible answer I could possibly think of. Is oh, it's just his brother showing up for revenge.
Yeah.
The more interesting answer is, what if it is the marshal?
Mm,
Like, because it seemed like there's no way he could have survived those injuries. But what if he came back as a ghost that nobody could recognize?
yeah.
Or what if he was like a spirit of death or something, there to judge the town? I've heard people argue he's everything from Satan to a
Yeah.
ghost to
Well,
um,
he could be death.
exactly like the Grim
Yeah.
Reaper
Yeah,
himself.
because I mean he is riding a white horse. I mean,
Yep, yeah, pale horse. Yeah.
pale horse. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and part of why I think the supernatural explanation has some merit to it is,
Yeah.
among other things, there's a scene where he's opened up fire on at short range when he
Yeah.
just ducks into a cast iron tub.
Yeah.
And
He didn't get shot. Yeah.
at that range, I don't care how bad of a shot you are, one of those three bullets is going to hit you.
Yeah. It's the old saying, fish in a barrel. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of, to my mind, one of the big clues that there was something supernatural going on.
Yeah.
I suppose this is one of those moments where I usually try to be consistent about not putting much truck in death of the author, but dang, it makes this movie so much less fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is more fun to think that he's some kind of like spirit or whatever, as opposed to just he's the guy's brother.
How fun.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think this is a good movie. And not as good as Unforgiven, another Eastwood Western, but it's right up there.
Yeah, it would be right. It would be kind of unfortunate if he couldn't improve over the course of 10 years to the point where he could leave this one behind.
Yeah,
Or 20 years, really.
yeah,
15, 20. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But I think that that's all we really had to say about this one, is just that
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. Go watch it. And I think
Yes.
that really the only one that I can think of that I wouldn't strongly recommend from this week would be Father of the Bride, but that's just because it's like it is the compromise movie.
Yeah.
Grandma and grandpa and the kids and the parents and the teenagers all want to watch a movie together because it's like they're stuck together on Thanksgiving. What's the thing that won't make everybody equally bored
Yeah.
and have a couple of moments, like, and there'll be like one moment for every person.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I would agree on that. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the bell, all that good YouTube stuff.
Mhm.
Buy some books, and then we'll see you next week. Hey, everybody.
Good night.